Hello everybody and welcome to this video on AQA English Language Paper 1. Now the November resit results came out this week and with them the examiners reports, and in today's video I'll take you through some of the key points from the exam reports for 2019 from both the November and the June exams. Now I won't go through everything covered in these reports. Almost all of the points made are things I already teach in my animated videos, so do check those out. I'll link them at the end of the video. The first point then relates to Paper 1, Question 1, and is really down to students making this question harder than it needs to be. Remember, Question 1 is supposed to be an easy opener to settle you into the exam, and it asks you to list 4 things about a certain topic from a certain section of the text. Now I cover this point in my animated video on this question, but I wanted to go over it again because it comes up in both the June and the November 2019 exam reports. And that point is that students should remember that inferences are not required for this question and can in fact lead students to speculate rather than interpret. So if you've seen my animation on this question, you'll remember that the example I gave is a question to list 4 things about Brightly, and one thing we read in the text was that Brightly began to cough. Now students who simply wrote Brightly coughed would get a mark for this, but trying to interpret that cough and writing Brightly was sick or Brightly had allergies or Brightly had asthma would not get you any marks because it's not something that's stated in the text itself. Now that's a simple point to make, but students are getting this wrong time and time again, so make sure you just choose 4 simple points from the text. Don't overthink Paper 1 Question 1 as you'll lose easy marks at the start of the paper. For Question 2, there was one interesting point in the November report which stated that students continue to struggle to make clear comments on the use of sentence structures and punctuation, and such comments should only be made where it is possible to link the usage to a precise effect. So again, if you watch my videos, you'll remember I talk about how in the November 2018 resit paper, there weren't any sentence forms worthy of note. So it's important to use the bullet points in this question as a guide and not feel you have to write about all 3. If you find a sentence form or a use of punctuation that seems to be significant, but you can't think how it creates a specific and precise effect, then don't write about it. In June 2019, the same point was made that students tend to find less success writing about sentence length or punctuation. Now, it doesn't mean it's impossible to do so. It just means that many fail to write about these in a way which will achieve high marks by offering a perceptive and detailed analysis. Question 3, there's a common mistake I've seen time and time again myself, that students write about language in this question when it is in fact a structure question. Now remember, structure is about why a certain detail is located at that specific point in the text, and the June 2019 report pointed out one successful way to focus on structure, which is to note a structural feature at a specific point in the text and then comment on how it's developed from earlier or how it contrasts with the start or the end. You just have to remember that question 3 is about structure, question 2 about language, and the 2 things are different. For question 4, and again I go through this in my video on the question, you do not have to argue both sides in this question. You can agree, disagree, or have a balanced view. This was mentioned as a key point where the exam report stated some students were determined to find a counter-argument, but without having secure evidence for this. Students should be reminded that a counter-argument is not essential for this question. They may be more successful making and developing points that continue their original argument. For question 5, there was a very interesting point made. Now, I never tell you what the questions themselves were because I don't want to give away questions that you may end up facing in a mock exam, but the key thing here is that many students decided to write their creative piece in November in a younger voice as children. The November exam report points out the difficulty with doing this is that a young narrative voice was simplistic and did not allow students to showcase their narrative skills. In other words, you want to show the examiner just how amazing your writing skills are, with your vocabulary, your punctuation, your structure, your language devices, and so on. Don't choose to write in a way which hinders that. And even if the image prompt seems to be leading you to write in a simplistic way, know that that is not what the exam board want you to do. The image is a prompt for ideas and should encourage you to write beyond what you can just simply see within the picture itself. Well, I hope you found this video useful. My guide to the English language exams, both paper 1 and paper 2, has now achieved 300 reviews on Amazon, so why not pick up a copy today? I'll put a link in the description. And of course, please do subscribe to the channel. Next week we'll do the same thing, looking at AQA English language paper 2.